first graders. We're back to our reading lesson today, and we're going to continue to talk about folk tales. This is what we know about folk tales so far. Folk tales are made-up stories. They've been told and retold for a long time. Characters are either good or bad, and everyone learns a lesson in the end. I've added to our chart today a few more things that we need to know about folk tales. Sometimes folk tales can have royalty in them, and those special types of folk tales are called fairy tales. So when you hear stories with kings and queens and princes and princesses. Sometimes there's magic. Sometimes there is trickery or cleverness. Animals can be very clever. They can be very tricky. And sometimes there is repetitive language, words that repeat over and over throughout the story. Today's story is The Gingerbread Man. And this is technically a fairy tale, even though it doesn't have any royalty in it. The things that this story has in it today are magic. So I want you to be thinking about which character might be magical. And you're also going to hear some language that repeats, repetitive language. So as we read today, I want you to be thinking about those two things. And we're also going to be working on our learning target, which is the same as the other day. I can infer the lesson of a folk tale. And just so we can remember what that fancy word infer means, I'm going to show you the chart. This time it's not backwards. Sorry about that. Making an inference, or to infer. This is when we take clues from our book, thinking about the illustrations, thinking about the words that the author uses. We combine that with what we already know, our background knowledge or our schema, to make an inference. Lots of times, authors do not come right out and tell us information. You will notice in this book today, the author does not say the lesson you need to know is this. We have to infer the lesson or the message of this story. And so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make an inference about this new folktale. Okay, so we're going to read The Gingerbread Man. Notice this says retold. We know that folktales are retold, and there are many different versions of them out there. So we're going to get going with this. The Gingerbread Man. Hopefully you can see the pictures a lot better by me doing it this way. Once upon a time, an old woman and an old man decided to make some gingerbread. First, they mixed up the dough. Then they rolled it out on the table. Then they cut the dough into the shape of a gingerbread man. The old woman and the old man put the gingerbread man in the oven to bake. Just some things I want to point out. We see once upon a time. We know lots of fairy tales start that way. We also see some transition words in here. First, then, and I'm going to show you the picture as I read the words. He baked for a good long time. When he was done, the old woman and the old man let him cool a little. Then they decorated him with 2 licorice eyes, a mouth made of icing, and 3 peppermint buttons down the front of his shirt. As soon as they put on the last peppermint button, up jumped the gingerbread man. To their surprise, he leaped off the table and ran out the door. "Come back, gingerbread man, come back," the old woman and the old man called as they ran after him. But the gingerbread man ran faster. "I'll run and run as fast as I can. You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man." Down the road ran the gingerbread man. He ran past the pigsty where the old sow lay. "Slow down, gingerbread man. I want to talk to you." The old sow oinked, and she started running after the gingerbread man. "I'll run and run as fast as I can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. I ran from the woman. I ran from the man. I'll run from you. See if I can." Down the road ran the gingerbread man. He ran past the doghouse. The dog wagged his tail. Slow down, Gingerbread Man. I want to talk to you, the dog barked, and he started running after the Gingerbread Man. But the Gingerbread Man ran faster. I'll run and run as fast as I can. You can't catch me, I'm the Gingerbread Man. I ran from the woman, I ran from the man. I'll run from you, see if I can. Down the road ran the Gingerbread Man. He ran past the pasture where the horse and the cow stood grazing. The horse neighed, the cow mooed. Slow down, Gingerbread Man. We want to talk to you. And they started running after the Gingerbread Man. But the Gingerbread Man ran faster. I'll run and run as fast as I can. You can't catch me. I'm the Gingerbread Man. I ran from the woman and I ran from the man. I'll run from you. See if I can. Down the road ran the Gingerbread Man with the horse and the cow, the dog and the sow, the old woman and the old man running behind him. The Gingerbread Man ran and ran until he came to the river. There he stopped, wondering what to do. "Hello, Gingerbread Man," a voice said. It was a fox. The Gingerbread Man cried, "I'll run and run as fast as I can. You can't catch me, I'm the Gingerbread Man. I ran from the horse, I ran from the cow. I ran from the dog, I ran from the sow. I ran from the woman, I ran from the man. I'll run from you, see if I can." The fox chuckled. "Why, Gingerbread Man, you don't have to run from me. I am your friend. I want to help you." "How can you help me?" the Gingerbread Man asked the fox. "Hop on my tail," the sly fox said. "I will carry you across the river. You will be safe on the other side." The Gingerbread Man hopped on the fox's tail. The fox jumped in the river and started swimming across. "Gingerbread Man, the water is rising. Hop on my back so your feet don't get wet," the fox called out. The Gingerbread Man hopped on the fox's back. The fox swam on. After a while, the fox said, "Gingerbread Man, the water is still rising. Hop on my head so your feet don't get wet." The Gingerbread Man hopped on the fox's head. The fox swam on. After a while, the fox said again, "Gingerbread Man, the water is still rising. Hop on my snout so your feet don't get wet." The Gingerbread Man hopped on the fox's snout. But no sooner had he done that than the fox threw back his head and snapped up the Gingerbread Man in one bite. Oh dear. But don't be sad, for that wasn't the end of the Gingerbread Man. The Gingerbread Man has gone away, but he'll be back some other day. For gingerbread men return, it's said, when someone bakes some gingerbread. You can see all of these little gingerbread men coming to life again. Okay, guys, so let's talk about the story just a little bit. If we go back to our learning target, we're thinking about what lesson or what was the message of this folktale. We have quite a list of the books that we've read together, the folktales that we've read, and the lessons that we've learned. We've started this long list from the Mrs. Chicken and the Hungry Crocodile, the Princess and the Pea, the Tale of Rabbit and Coyote. And now today I'm just going to kind of extend our chart. We've got the Gingerbread Man here. So I want you to think to yourself at home, what type of lesson could we learn from reading this story? Some things that I came up with. One thing could be tricking someone is not nice, right? There's a lot of trickery going on. And the next thing that I thought of was it's important not to talk to strangers. The Gingerbread Man trusted that fox, even though he didn't know him, and in the end, he got eaten up. Now, obviously, this story is made up. So we know that made up stories are fiction. It's a fictional story. We talked about how folk tales can have repetitive language. So I want to ask you, what was the language that was repeated over and over in this story? And it's really what the gingerbread man continues to say to each animal and person that he meets. I'll run and run as fast as I can. You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man. I ran from the woman, I ran from the man. I'll run from you, see if I can. And he continues to say that after each animal he meets. So there's our repetitive language. There's also a little bit of magic happening in this book. Obviously, we know that animals can't talk. That's made up. But the magical part in this book is that he goes from a cookie, right? He's baked in the oven, to an actual little man who can run. So that's the magical piece of this book. There were also some vocabulary words that I wanted to talk about. We know that we come to words that we don't know all the time when we read. And so as a good reader, we have to kind of use our clues to figure out the meaning of words. I want us to focus on this page. This is where he has met the old sow. Now, if I was reading along and I wasn't so sure of that word sow, that's not a word we hear very often, I can use some clues from my reading to figure out this vocabulary word. Down the road ran the gingerbread man. He ran past the pigsty where the old sow lay. So I am looking over here. If he's running past this character, I can infer that a sow is a pig. There's a little more to this word sow, and I'm going to keep reading to show you what I'm saying. Slow down, gingerbread man. I want to talk to you, the old sow oinked. And she started running after the gingerbread man. So this word she tells me that a sow is a female pig. It's not just any old pig. It's a female pig. So that's how we can figure out the meaning of that word. Okay. So we're going to continue to explore our folk tales this week and next. And the exciting part about this is that now we get to compare two of the same stories, but just different versions. So today we read this one, The Gingerbread Man. Next time we meet, we're going to read The Gingerbread Boy, and we're going to figure out how this story is similar to this one and if there's any differences. So we can look forward to being together for this next story. Okay, guys, your goal today after we read our book is I want you to tell a family member about the gingerbread man. I want you to practice doing a retell. I want you to start by saying, the story we read today was The Gingerbread Man. It's a folk tale. This is how it starts. In the beginning, and that's when you need to name your characters. In the beginning, there's an old woman and an old man, and they bake some gingerbread. Next, and I want you to think about the story. What happens next? Think about the animals that he passes. You can practice using your transition words like, after that, he sees a sow. I learned today that a sow is a female pig. Next, he runs past a dog. After that, he meets a cow and a horse. And I want you to go through each part of the story. Then he meets the fox, and the fox is really tricky. He keeps telling him to move up closer and closer to his snout, right? Again, if we didn't know that word snout, we could use our picture clues. This is the page that has that word on it. Gingerbread man, the water is still rising. Hop on my snout. And if I didn't know that word, I could go over here and use my picture. I can infer that snout means his nose, right? Part of an animal's nose. And then, sadly for the gingerbread man, this is how the story ends. He gets eaten. So I want you to practice doing a retell to a family member. being able to talk about your learning is a great way, and it shows that you really understand what we practiced today. Okay, guys, next time we meet, we will